Evil Within is one of the funniest horror games I've ever played, and I don't mean that in a good way. 2014 was a weird year for horror games because it was stacked. We got Alien Isolation, Dying Light, PT, but for some reason YouTubers decided to make a game about PNG jump scares more popular than any game that year. The Evil Within is pretty underrated when it comes to the heavy hitters that year. Most people that played it when it came out gave it pretty good reviews from both critics and fans, but overall the most popular opinion of this game was that it was alright, good, but not really that impressive. You wanna know what I think? Well, I think the game is alright, I guess. The Evil Within is a psychological horror survival game developed by Tango Games and published by the company that keeps re-releasing Skyrim for the 10th time already. Now, most people will tell you that this game looks and plays like Resident Evil 4, and the reason behind that is because Evil Within was directed by the same guy that wrote Resident Evil 4. Honestly, that's great. The game has everything that I liked about RE4, which is the limited resources, the creepy atmosphere, good horror, and also good horror action scenes. And to me, The Evil Within is kind of a hard game to talk about, because in one way, the game plays absolutely good if you don't mind the jankiness sometimes. Stealth and combat are amazing with many different weapons to choose from, many different ways to tackle an area, and so on and so forth. But for some reason, I found myself thinking that this game is stupidly mediocre from times, but other times I find myself really enjoying the game. And well, to not make this video any long, let's talk about the Evil Within gameplay is similar to a lot of horror survival games out there, in the terms of it being scary and also it making you feel super vulnerable and alone. You play as Sebastian Castellanos, a detective and also the main protagonist in the Evil Within franchise, if you haven't heard that. The game follows a chapter-esque storyline where you need to do certain objectives in the chapter, like killing zombies, running away, saving an ally to complete a chapter. You will do so with the help of your trusty weapons, and honestly, the guns in this game feel really good to use. For example, the first weapon you get is this revolver, which feels nice. The sound design is great, it's just very weak at the start. But luckily for us, we can upgrade our weapons at the safe zone. This safe zone can be heard, and I repeat, heard from miles away. Every time you are close to a safe zone, you will hear this soundtrack play behind a closed door. Going inside it, you can safely teleport into the safe zone. Here you can save your game, unlock resources, and upgrade your stats and weapons. But first, you need this goop substance thingy dropped by enemies or found scattered around everywhere for some reasons to upgrade. And little tip, upgrade your stamina because you know what? How old is Sebastian? You know what? After looking at his age, my valid criticism kinda became invalid, huh? Still, normally in any game, when you run out of stamina, you can't sprint anymore. In this game, when you run out of stamina, you cannot do shit anymore, which is bad in a game that likes to shower you with enemies that can kill you easily. Now let's talk about the whole resource management thingy. I started the game on normal. The game felt pretty normal to me until I started getting killed by invisible enemies. So I turned it down a notch to casual. And in my defense, the sound design here isn't that noteworthy. Plus, I'm trying to enjoy the game and it crashed. Like I said, apart from the jankiness and the very low hanging fruits that I can pick on, the game is good, better than Dying Light 2, but the gameplay isn't really that noteworthy. It's the typical third-person horror survival gameplay, unless we talk about the horror aspect of this game. This game is scary, and just like any horror survival game, it becomes less scary and more action-oriented over time, and I cannot fault the game for the genre it's supposed to represent. What I can do is tell you that unlike the boulder punching simulator, the pacing in this game is actually decent. It's not a walk-in jump scare sim like Outlast, and it's not RE6 where the action heavily outweighs the horror. It's a good balance. Some chapters do outstay their welcome, but overall, still better than Dying Light 2. Overall, the gameplay of The Evil Within is good. It doesn't do anything out of the ordinary. It delivers what it's supposed to deliver, aka a good survival horror experience. But come on, games are not just gameplay. They have stories to be told, and believe it or not, The Evil Within has one of the most interesting stories I've seen in this genre. Evil Within has an amazing story, a bit convoluted but amazing nonetheless. Major spoiler warning by the way, if you haven't played the game, well, go play it. The story revolves around two main actors, Ruvrik and Leslie. If you think the world shifting around you is weird, it's because you are not actually in the real world. You are in something called STEM. STEM is a machine capable of linking multiple people to one shared mind. That one shared mind being Ruvrik, of course, a tragic genius psychopath that trapped himself inside STEM and completely lost his body. His objective is escaping STEM through Leslie, the sanest XQC viewer. This Leslie character is weird. Everyone wants him because he has the same brainwave pattern as Ruvrik, the fucked up psychopath tormenting you and your team, compromised of an old man who can't run to save his life, a failed thirst trap, and a budget Ada Wong. So where do we stand in this situation? I mean, Sebastian is just a detective. He has nothing to do in this case. Get it? Pun intended. Sebastian is just a bystander at the start, warped to STEM by a complete coincidence. That's why Ruvrik never saw you as a threat to begin with, dispatching just a few of his not so powerful monsters to deal with you, until you interact with this one person called Laura. No, again, big spoiler, Laura is Ruvrik's sister. She died in a house fire, and in STEM, this is how Ruvrik for some reason sees his sister, as a spider lady of some sort. Well, the more you advance through STEM, the more of a threat you become to Ruvrik's plan, and the more STEM becomes hostile towards you, to the point where even the safe zone isn't safe anymore. The Evil Within has a really good story. Is it tearjerking? No, hell no. But it is a story that makes you think about it after you finish it, and I've always liked those stories to begin with. The narrative isn't convoluted and mysterious for the sake of being convoluted and mysterious, and at the end, nearly everything starts to make sense. So, The Evil Within is good. Is it a flawed masterpiece? No, it's not. Even without the jankiness and everything, The Evil Within is really just an alright game. But it's still miles better than this poo-poo game called Dying Light 2. If you never played it and want to check it out, go ahead, I'll recommend it. Just expect a lot of jankiness. And also, thank you to my friend, Proxidust, who bought me the game. He made a long video where he actually goes in depth about this game. So I recommend you check that out. I'll leave his video in the description. And also, thank you for watching till the end. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you want to be notified when I upload again in the future, go ahead, subscribe. And last but not least, this game deserves a 7 Sonic CDs out of 10. Fuck you guys. Bye-bye.
Probably gonna hit that don't save changes again. Used to write a song a day. It's just that lately my perfection's in the way of me, and I can't make no changes to save me. Wish I could write more, careless. Wish I could write more and care less. Write more and care less and care less.